Hello everyone, it's Hazem here from the Skills Bay. Welcome to another video of our basic Excel formulas series. In this video we will take a look at the CountA function, and then there is another task that we will be solving. In this task we will identify duplicate values using a formula. I will use the previous example where we talked about the CountIf and CountIfs. So we will be using the same data. Alright, so let's start. We have the following task. In column L, write a formula to identify duplicate values in product ID. So let's start with the CountA. Basically, CountA counts all values, regardless if they are text or numbers. So if you remember well, the count function counts only numbers. So it does not count texts or empty cells. So the CountA basically counts every cell that is not empty. And this is very useful when you're dealing with records that have numbers and the other record has a text. So this is very useful. So let's check this example and see how the function works. CountA is not a very difficult formula, so we'll be using a very simple example and see the differences. So start with an equal sign, and let's go first with the count. So this is the original count, and it says the value. And here I'm gonna select this column, which is the country of origin. And as you can see, values here are texts. Let me close the brackets and hit enter, and as you can see, it returned 0 because the formula could not find any numeric data. Some people ask about this and they go crazy because the formula is returning a 0. Now the answer to that is because you don't have numbers. Let's go and see, for example, if we change the count to CountA and hit enter. Now the CountA could count numeric values or text. So as you can see, it returned the total number of the cells that are not empty. So this is basically how you use the CountA. It's very useful and it's a simple way to count values. Now we have the other task, which says in column L, write a formula to identify duplicate values in product ID. So product ID is supposed to be a unique number, meaning, for example, tomato has the product ID of 100. Now, why do we need the product ID? Because as we talked about in other videos, the product ID is very important if you are dealing with the VLOOKUP function or the HLOOKUP, or even if you want to look up any values, basically, that is linked to the record. So tomato here is record number 100. And that's why it's very important not to have any duplication. Now there is a simple way to identify any duplications in this column. The simple way is to select the entire column and go to conditional formatting, and under conditional formatting go to highlight cells rules, and if you can see, the last option here is duplicate values, meaning if there are any duplicate values, the conditional formatting will be highlighting them. And now here you can see any the formatting for that, so let's keep it as default and hit enter. Now here I don't have any duplication, but let's see if we have any duplication. So this is we have the product number of asparagus, which is 103, and carrots is 104, but we changed them to the same value. Now when you hit enter, the conditional formatting will be able to detect that there are two values that are similar and duplicate, and they will flag them. This is an easy way, and so many people use it and they are happy with it. But we're going to learn a more advanced technique using a formula to identify any duplication. So we have this duplication column, which is column L. To identify any duplicate, you can use the CountIf function because it allows you to write a criteria. So basically, we will ask the formula to count any values that are similar within this range. How do we do that? I already wrote the formula for you. It's a simple one. So you write CountIf, and then you can highlight the entire column. This is your range. So what's the criteria? Now we're going to move to it. The criteria basically is the product ID. So we're telling the formula to look within this range for this value and count how many ones or how many 100s there are. So let's close the brackets and hit enter. And now we need to fill the formula down. So right now I have here almost 2,000 records. So easily you can double click on this sign, the plus sign, to autofill. Now, as you can see, the same duplication, they got counted twice, meaning the formula is saying that I found two 103 values. Now, if we want to kind of like use a filter for that, which is highly recommended, because if you are dealing with almost 2,000 records, you cannot keep scrolling down and check if there are any duplications. The easiest way to do this is to highlight the titles or the first row and go to Home. From Home, go to Sort and Filter. Click on this and then click Filter. So once you choose Filter, you will see these small buttons that look like arrows. So you can click on this and the filter will filter all the similar values. So within all our range, the filter could find only two values, 1 and 2. The 1 is good because it means that this is a unique record. So we don't want the ones. The ones, we have no problem with them. They are correct. That's what we are asking for. We want to unselect. I just want to see the value that have 2 in it. So I'm going to unselect this again and hit OK. And there you go. You see the rows got filtered, flagging the duplication, meaning we have these two records that have the same value, meaning I have the 103 twice in this record and this record. So if I change this value to 104, as you can see right now it went back to 1 and the conditional formatting is no longer applicable. We go to the filter and as you can see there is no 2 or 3. Sometimes if there are duplications, and this happens very often if you're dealing with email addresses, sometimes somebody used the same email address in 70 transactions. And this is very useful. You can use this way to flag any duplications. And if you see that, for example, we have 1 and 70, meaning this record has been duplicated 70 times. And then you can act accordingly. just gonna clear the filter and go back to the example. So this is pretty much it, how you use the CountA, meaning if you want to count all the data, which is CountA, and then you select whatever column or whatever range of data, and you close the brackets, and there you go. So this is your formula. It's CountA, and you select the range. And the other example, as I said, for the duplication, you use for that the CountIf function. So this is pretty much everything for our video today. I hope you found this video to be useful. Again, if you have any inquiries or you would like to learn about a specific topic or a specific formula, please write that down in the comment sections, and you will try to make a video about it. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.